In the bustling heart of Accra, Ghana, there lived a man who was gentle, soft-spoken, and avoided conflict. Everyone in his compound called him uncle because he treated even the youngest children like his own. He loved cooking jollof rice with fried plantain, and every Saturday evening, the aroma filled the street. But behind his warm smile was a deep sorrow. He had been married for 14 years without a child. He had visited clinics, climbed hills to pray, and fasted until his body ached, but nothing worked. Each month, his hope surged and then shattered. His wife, still loving, shared a heavy silence with him. Sometimes she sat on the veranda, staring into the distance for hours. He knew what she was thinking, even if she never spoke it. One day, a neighbor burst into their flat, eyes wide with excitement. "There's a powerful prophet in town," she said. "They call him Papa Fire Overflow. People say he prays, and barren wombs open instantly." The man was skeptical until he saw the videos online, showing crowds shouting in joy. His wife looked at him, her eyes flickering with cautious hope. The neighbor's enthusiasm was infectious, and for the first time in years, the man felt a spark of possibility. Could this be the answer they'd been seeking? The flat was quiet after the neighbor left, but the air buzzed with unspoken anticipation. That Sunday, the sky was heavy with dark clouds, as if warning Accra. Thunder rumbled, shaking the windows of their flat as the man adjusted his simple blue agbada. "Are you sure about this?" his wife asked, holding an umbrella, her voice soft but concerned. "The rain looks angry." "I've got nothing left to lose," he whispered, his voice barely audible over the storm. They stood together for a moment, the weight of their shared pain hanging between them. Then, with a deep breath, they prepared to leave, determined to face whatever lay ahead. They left in silence, hurrying through Accra's rain-soaked streets toward the sanctuary of eternal flame, the grandest church the man had ever seen. Its gates were wide, walls painted red, and the crowd endless, braving the storm with plastic chairs held like shields. People ran, jumped over puddles, and shouted praises, undeterred by the downpour. The man and his wife joined the throng, their steps quickening as they neared the church, a beacon of hope amidst the chaos. The air was thick with expectation, the storm amplifying the urgency of their mission. Inside, the church hall gleamed with white tiles, a glass pulpit, and screens flashing miracle and fruitfulness service, healing for the hopeless. The choir's voices soared like thunder, "There is power in the name of Jesus." People danced, some rolling on the floor, others speaking in tongues. The man stood still, hands clenched, lips moving in quiet prayer, his heart pounding with hope. Ushers guided the crowd, their movements swift and practiced, as the energy in the room reached a fever pitch. Then he saw him, a tall prophet in flowing red robes, his face smooth as polished stone, eyes sharp, almost too sharp. He wore long gloves despite the heat, and when he raised the microphone, the hall fell silent. "Today," he said, his voice deep and steady, "God is opening wombs. He is turning shame into testimony. If you've been waiting for a child, run to the altar." The room erupted, men rushing forward, some weeping, others clutching photos of lost children or wives who had left. The man hesitated, his knees heavy, heart racing. Then the prophet's voice boomed again, closer. "You, man in the blue agbada, come now. I've been waiting for you." The man turned, stunned, as the prophet pointed at him. The crowd gasped, clapped. His wife nudged him gently. "Go. God is calling you." He stumbled to the altar, falling to his knees, trembling, his whisper caught by the microphone, "Please, help me. I can't bear this pain anymore." The moment felt surreal, as if the world had paused, waiting for a miracle. The prophet approached, robe sweeping the tiles, knelt, and placed a gloved hand on the man's forehead, closing his eyes. "Spirit of barrenness, pack your load and go." The man screamed, his body arching, arms flailing, mouth open but silent. Then, stillness. The church froze. The prophet smiled, whispered something in his ear, then stood, raising both hands. He is pregnant. The hall went wild, shouts, tears, claps. Ushers rushed forward with white cloths to cover the trembling man, as his wife knelt, laughing and crying. The next morning, the man woke before dawn, sitting on the bed's edge, hands on his stomach, eyes wide with hope. His wife snored softly beside him. Outside, birds began to sing. God, he whispered, did it really happen? He stood before a small mirror on the wall, his face calmer, skin brighter, eyes alive with a new glow. Something inside felt different, the spark, a promise. The quiet of the dawn held a fragile hope, as if the world was waiting to see what came next. His wife stirred. You're up already? She asked, yawning. I can't sleep, he said, smiling. I keep hearing his voice. You are pregnant? She sat up, her eyes soft. I heard it too. The whole church did. They agreed to visit the hospital that week, but the man felt something undeniable inside. He touched his cheeks in the mirror, his smile growing. The room felt warmer, the weight of years of pain lifting, if only for a moment. By Tuesday, the news spread like wildfire through Accra. The man, barren for 14 years, was pregnant. The story raced through markets and WhatsApp groups. The church posted a clip of his deliverance on Instagram, captioned, "From waiting room to miracle womb, the God of Papa Fire Overflow has done it again." The video hit 15,000 views in 2 days. Strangers brought fruits and baby clothes to his home, calling him our testimony. He was overwhelmed, crying as they prayed and took photos. One evening, his younger brother, a nurse, visited. He'd been at the service, watching quietly from the back. The man hugged him. You missed it all. The brother smiled lightly. I saw, uncle. When you fell. The man beamed. Did you hear what the prophet said? The brother nodded, pulling a stool close, his eyes serious. Have you done a test yet? The man's smile faded slightly, sensing the doubt behind the question. The room grew quieter. Not yet, the man said. My wife says we'll go soon. The brother's eyes narrowed. Any strange dreams? The man paused. Yes. I'm standing in a river, snakes around my legs, but I'm not afraid. The brother forced a smile. Just rest, and don't skip the hospital. A green mirror with snake carvings sat by the bed, a gift from the prophet. The brother touched its cold frame, frowning. The mood shifted, a shadow of unease creeping into the room. 3 weeks later, the man glowed. His face was fuller, steps lighter, wearing brighter clothes. He attended midweek services, where the prophet always pointed him out. This man is proof my altar speaks. Congregants clapped, some sowing faith seeds by touching his feet. Ushers escorted him out to stop the crowd's rush. His transformation was undeniable, a beacon of hope for the desperate. The church paused with fervent energy, the man at its center. One day, the prophet pulled him aside in a quiet office. My son, how do you feel? Peaceful, Papa, the man said. The prophet leaned closer. This child is not ordinary. It will carry fire, a sign to nations. No doctor must touch you, no scans, no injections. Let it grow by faith. The man hesitated. But my brother said, the prophet's face darkened. Your brother is a nurse. This is spirit, not medicine. The man nodded, unsure, the room heavy with authority. That night, the man dreamed of the river again. A snake, larger now, wrapped gently around his legs, hissing near his ear. He woke sweating, hands on his belly, whispering, "You are not ordinary, my child." Meanwhile, his brother sat in his apartment, laptop open, pausing a video from the miracle service. Zooming in, he saw a snake-like shadow move across the altar when the prophet touched the man. His mouth went dry, the truth dawning in the dark. The rain returned, fierce with thunder, shaking Accra. The man, now in his 7th month but looking 9, lay in pain, clutching his swollen stomach. Sharp movements burned through his waist. "My wife," he cried. She jumped up, alarmed. "It's too early." The pain worsened, a fire spreading to his thighs. He groaned, barely able to move, as the storm outside mirrored the chaos within him. The night felt alive with menace. His wife supported him as they rushed to Blessed Hope Clinic, recommended by the church. Rain soaked them as they stumbled through Accra streets, the man limping, his face contorted in pain. "Hold on," his wife urged, her voice shaking. They reached the clinic by midnight, nurses rushing the man inside, leaving his wife outside. The neon signs flickered, casting an eerie glow on the wet pavement, amplifying their fear. The wife paced the hospital corridor, the antiseptic smell sharp, lights flickering. Nurses hurried past, their faces unreadable. Hours passed with no news, her anxiety mounting. She clutched her wrapper, praying silently, her heart heavy with dread. The man's screams echoed faintly, then fell silent, leaving an oppressive stillness. The corridor felt like a trap, closing in around her. A tall doctor emerged, her face too calm. "We lost him," she said. The wife froze. "Lost who?" "Your husband. He was bleeding inside." "Too late." The wife screamed, collapsing, tears streaming down her face. "Let me see him." The doctor replied, "The church took his body. They said he belonged to their altar." The words cut like a knife, leaving her shattered in the cold corridor. The man's brother arrived, alerted by a nurse friend. "Where's my brother?" he demanded. The wife whispered, "They took him." Furious, he stormed to the sanctuary of eternal flame, banging on the locked gates in the rain. "Where's his body?" he shouted. Guards blocked him, one saying, "Mama said no disturbances." The brother's anger boiled over, his voice echoing in the storm, vowing to uncover the truth. 3 days later, the church held a Thanksgiving service, claiming the man was called home in glory. Congregants wore red and white, singing about heaven. The prophet stood at the pulpit, announcing his holiness, showing a slideshow of the man smiling. People cried, some clapped, but the brother watched from a cab outside, recording, his heart heavy with suspicion. The church's facade hid a darker truth. That night, the brother couldn't sleep, haunted by his brother's face in the green mirror, lifeless for a second. He smashed it, but it didn't break. He called a journalist, saying, "They used my brother in something dark." Opening his laptop, he rewatched the miracle video, pausing on the snake-like shadow. His resolve hardened, the rain outside mirroring his growing determination to expose the church. The brother met the journalist at a quiet canteen behind an Accra estate, closed early for fear of spiritual attacks. She slid a brown envelope across the table, containing photos and documents of other missing men. "This is a pattern," she said. The brother's hands shook as he read about men who vanished after miracles. The canteen's dim light cast shadows, amplifying the weight of their discovery. At 2 a.m., the brother crouched near the church's back fence, watching a narrow passage by the children's hall. The prophet emerged, red robe dragging, gloved hands at his sides, heading to a river. The brother followed, heart pounding, recording as the prophet chanted in an unknown tongue. The dark river bubbled, the air thick with an unnatural chill, as the truth began to unfold. The prophet removed his gloves, revealing shimmering green-black scales. His lower body morphed into a serpent's tail, half man, half beast, sinking into the river. The brother, hidden behind a tree, recorded, trembling, his camera capturing the horrifying transformation. The moonlight cast an eerie glow, the river's stillness amplifying the surreal terror of the moment. The next night, the brother returned, seeing the prophet and 3 robed men carry a wrapped body, his brothers. They chanted, "Alua Ida, accept this offering," pushing the body into the river. The brother's camera shook, capturing the lifeless face of the man he loved. He ran, heartbreaking, the river's dark waters swallowing the evidence of a monstrous ritual. In his apartment, the brother uploaded the video, "This is what happened to my brother." It hit 80,000 views in hours, comments flooding, "Is this real?" He sent it to news outlets, his face resolute despite shaking hands. The footage showed the prophet's transformation, undeniable proof of evil. The city buzzed with outrage, the brothers' mission gaining momentum in the dark. Protests erupted outside the church, people holding candles and #Church of Blood posters. The gates were locked, but green lights flickered inside. The brothers' evidence spread, dividing church members, some burned mirrors, others defended the prophet. The city was alive with anger and fear, the truth shaking across Accra as the brother watched from a distance. The brother visited a missing man's mother in OSU, sitting on a wooden bench. She shared her son's story, her eyes sad, holding a photo of a man who vanished after a miracle. The brother showed her his evidence, their shared grief fueling his resolve. The compound was quiet, the weight of loss heavy in the soft daylight. Back at his brother's flat, the brother found the green mirror. Staring into it, he saw his brother's lifeless face for a second. He smashed it, but it didn't break. Terrified, he ran, the mirror's cold presence haunting him. The dusty flat felt like a tomb, the air thick with an unseen menace that refused to let go. The brother infiltrated the prophet's office, climbing through a window. He found photos of missing men, including his own, marked 6. A hidden door led to a ritual room with a stone altar and photos of vanished men. His hands trembled as he documented the truth, the dark office heavy with secrets waiting to be exposed. In the ritual room, the brother read a book listing sacrifices, his heart racing. Photos lined the walls, men, all healed, all gone, including his brother. The room's black and green marble gleamed, candles unlit, the air cold and oppressive. Each name was a wound, fueling his determination to end the church's evil. The truth was undeniable, staring back from the walls. Footsteps echoed. The brother hid as a robed man entered, placing a child's photo on the wall, number 28. The brother stood, shouting, "Stop." The man laughed, his face twisting, eyes pale. The brother threw anointing oil, the robe smoking as the man screamed. He fled, the altar's dark energy chasing him into the night. At the journalist's place, they released the evidence, photos, videos, ritual book pages. The brother's face was resolute, the journalist's eyes wide. The footage showed the prophet's transformation, the altar's secrets. News outlets spread the story, hashtags like #Church of Blood trending. The apartment buzzed with urgency, the city ready to explode with truth. Protests grew, crowds surrounding the church with candles and posters. The gates were sealed, yellow tape marking the investigation. Green lights flickered inside, hinting at lingering evil. The brother watched, joined by families of the lost, their anger and grief uniting them. The twilight sky glowed, Accra alive with demands for justice. At midnight, the brother led 30 people to the church, singing hymns, pouring oil. A father of a missing man raised a bottle, vowing justice. A woman with a bell and Bible declared God's anger. The gates opened mysteriously, the hall heavy with a wet, cold presence. The crowd singing grew louder, their faith a weapon against the darkness. The prophet stood on the altar, green flames flaring, smiling defiantly. "You've come to see the unseen," he said, chanting in a strange tongue. Mirrors glowed, the floor shook. A man in the crowd screamed, another clutched his chest. The brother shouted, "You took my brother, serpent." The air thickened, a water-formed serpent rising, its green eyes burning. A child's voice sang "Jesus loves me," joined by dozens of children, holding hands. The serpent flickered, shaking. The prophet screamed, "No," as a white light beamed down, shattering mirrors. His snake tail appeared, his face aging. "Will he forgive me?" he whispered. The brother nodded, "If you repent." The children's song filled the hall, the light triumphant. The next morning, the sun rose brightly, police sealing the church. The brother stood with his brother's wife, holding a photo of the man. The ritual room was destroyed, names recorded. The prophet vanished, but the brother spoke at a press conference, vowing to protect others. The city felt cleansed, the light of truth prevailing in Accra's dawn.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, and hit that subscribe button for more awesome stories. See you in the next one.